Hey everyone, and welcome. In a world that seems to be changing faster than ever, we've got to ask, are we really preparing our students with the right skills to succeed? Well, today we're going to explore a program that's designed to do just that, Cambridge Global Perspectives. Let's dive in and see how it's shaking things up in education. It's the big question, isn't it? The one that keeps parents and teachers up at night. The future isn't just one thing, it's a moving target. And the world our kids are going to inherit is, well, it's more complex and connected than anything we've ever seen. So how do we give them the tools, the adaptability, the critical thinking, to not just survive, but to actually shape that future for the better? The answer might just be in shifting how we look at learning. Cambridge Global Perspectives, it isn't just another class on the schedule. It's a journey. It's about building this amazing toolkit of skills you can use anywhere, like analyzing tough problems and working with others to solve them. These are the skills that stick with you long after you've forgotten specific dates from a history book. So here's what we're going to cover. First, we'll break down what this program is all about. Then we'll get into why it's so important for today's learners. After that, we'll take a really good look at its 4-stage pathway. And at the end, we'll talk a little bit about how you can get support on this journey. Okay, so let's start with the basics. What exactly is Cambridge Global Perspectives? Well, picture this. It's a program that grows with the student, all the way from age 5 right up to 19. But you've got to forget the old school lectures and textbooks. Think about dynamic, hands-on projects. Students get to tackle huge, real-world topics, like the ethics of AI or how we build sustainable cities. And the goal? It isn't to find some single right answer. The real goal is to learn how to ask the right questions and see things from a ton of different viewpoints. Okay, so why is this so important? What's the real payoff of a program like this? Well, it all comes down to the skills you're going to build for your future. These 6 skills right here, they're the absolute heart of Global Perspectives. These are the superpowers that universities and employers are practically begging for these days. Being able to think critically, do your own research, and actually work well with other people. This isn't just about getting a good grade on a test. It's about building a rock-solid foundation for success in everything. But hey, don't just take my word for it. Listen to what this student from Bangalore, who actually went through the program, had to say. It really hits the nail on the head. This is about real life, about connecting what you learn in a classroom to the world you actually live in, and starting to understand how you can be a part of it. All right, let's get into the heart of it all, the 4-stage pathway. This is how a student literally travels through Global Perspectives, from their very first years in school right up to the doorstep of university. Now, the curriculum is designed like a spiral, which is actually pretty genius. It means that as students move up from primary to advanced, they keep revisiting the same core skills and themes, but every single time they go deeper and look at them in a more sophisticated way. It's a fantastic way to build real, lasting mastery over time. So the whole adventure kicks off in Cambridge Primary. This is for kids aged 5 to 11, and it's where they take their very first steps into this world of global thinking. The big focus here is just nurturing that natural curiosity that all kids have. So how on earth do you make global issues interesting to a 6-year-old? You do it through these awesome project-based challenges. And these aren't your typical homework assignments. We're talking about hands-on, collaborative projects where kids might design a campaign to help the environment or create a guide for being a good digital citizen. It's all about learning by doing, and wow, it is so effective. Okay, let's move on up the ladder. For students aged 11 to 14, we enter Cambridge Lower Secondary. The challenge approach is still front and center, but now you could say the training wheels are starting to come off. Students start digging into way more complex issues. Things like the details of climate policy or the ethics of how the media works. The focus really shifts from just what something is to why it is that way as they start building the analytical skills they're going to need for what comes next. All right, now we're at a really crucial stage, Cambridge Upper Secondary. This is typically for ages 14 to 16 and includes those big qualifications like the IGCSE and O-Level. This is where students really, and I mean really, learn to think like academics. They're not just taking in information anymore. They are dissecting it. They're learning to pull arguments apart, spot bias in their sources, and then build their very own conclusions based on solid evidence. It's such a huge step in becoming a true independent thinker. And that brings us to the final summit of the pathway, Cambridge Advanced. This is the pre-university level, designed for students from 16 to 19 years old. Now, the crown jewel of the whole program is something called the critical path. Think of it like being an intellectual detective. First, you deconstruct a case. You break down all the arguments. Then you reconstruct it, gathering evidence for and against. Next, and this is so important, you reflect on how all that investigation has actually shaped your own view. And finally, you communicate your findings, presenting your case with all the evidence to back it up. It's powerful stuff. And let me tell you, this is way more than just prepping for university. It's a launchpad for a life of intellectual curiosity. The skills and the mindset that students develop here are exactly what top universities all over the world are looking for. They want students who aren't just book smart, but who are thoughtful, engaged, and ready to jump into the academic world from day one. So there you have it. That's the Cambridge Global Perspectives program in a nutshell. It's a truly transformative journey that gives students the skills and the mindset they need to thrive in our complex world. And if you're looking for a partner to help guide you on this journey, well, that's where we come in. Fundoo Tutor is a personalized learning platform that helps students succeed in Cambridge, IB, and other international curriculums with expert mentorship, structured learning support, and engaging resources. Our focus is all about empowering each student, not just to do well in school, but to become a confident, capable, and globally minded citizen. Thanks so much for joining us to explore Cambridge Global Perspectives.